And we are back with another edition of How About Them Celtics, talking C's with Bobby Krupitsky of SI Media Group. Bobby, how are you doing today?
Doing fantastic. We got a loaded lineup to get to, so I'm excited to cover everything on the rundown.
Yes, sir. We're here. We're ready to go. Bobby, you see the new thumbnails that we've been testing out? You see we've slapped your face on a thumbnail recently?
It's an honor. This is what we play for. So I'm excited to have made it onto the thumbnail.
Yes,
He's
sir.
like tears. Can't believe it.
Yeah, if you just excuse me for a second.
We're testing out new thumbnails. Hopefully y'all like it. We haven't asked actually, but maybe we'll start trying and see if it changes. Leave a like on the video if you like it. We appreciate you. But we'll start with Celtics. Jayson Tatum. We talked about his potential MVP candidacy last time. There was a lot of talk at the All-Star break about the new face of the NBA. LeBron was asked. Kevin Durant was asked. Giannis was asked. A lot of women. Yama mentioned. We got some Luka. You got some D-Book, obviously from Durant, his teammate. Bobby, you posed a question to us, put on the rundown of the show. Does Tatum need to win a title to become the face of the league? And weirdly enough, I feel like Tatum does, but some of the other guys we just mentioned don't. And I don't know if that's just a double standard or because he's on such a good team that it feels like he's already had so much success that he's just like, it almost feels like people treat him like Melo if he doesn't win a title. And Melo was never the face of the league because they kind of viewed him as, oh, he hasn't won a title. He's kind of like that. Personally, I say no, but I think the general consensus from fans will be yes, that he does, if that makes sense.
Sure. So the way that I look at it is like anything, there are levels to it. So does Jayson Tatum need to win a title to be one of the faces of the league? No, I think that he's already, maybe not on the short list. There's names that come to mind first, but he's not far off of that conversation to begin with. And even another run to the Eastern Conference Finals, I think puts him in that conversation of he's one of the most recognizable players in the sport. But if you want to be up there on the level of that LeBron and Steph and Kevin Durant have ascended to, and we can talk about how KD got his rings, but you have to win a championship. The facts are the facts. The way this works is understood. So for Jayson Tatum to be a face of the league, just keep doing what you're doing. To be one of those top tier, upper echelon faces within that short list, you've got to win a championship.
I agree for the most part. I mean, when I first heard the question, I was like, easiest answer ever, yes. But to your point, Bobby, I think he benefits a lot from the growth of the game around the world because literally all the other guys that are towards the top are not American guys. So because of that, a lot of the marketing, especially here, involves him too. Like he's on all the posters. He was there on I think the opening night, even though the Celtics didn't play on TNT to kick off the season, his face was on all of like the season tips off on this day because for whatever reason they roll with him for marketing and he's a huge part of that. He was on a lot of the billboards in the spring too during the playoffs because the Celtics obviously were expected to do more than they did. So he's still one of the more recognizable guys. You're starting to see him everywhere. Over the All-Star break, his name has been mentioned so much. Like every time you go on Twitter, it's something different. He's in the SoFi commercial now, and he has the partnership with them. So he's done a lot to make his name more recognizable, but the league has also helped that. To be the guy, the face of the league, though, absolutely you do. You have to. And he's been taking a lot of crap lately, especially since, people are starting to throw him in the MVP chatter and everything. Everyone's like, well, he's going to win a title. Yeah, win a title. It's there.
I mean, he's second in the league in jersey sales right now. And I feel like us in Boston don't fully comprehend how famous Jayson Tatum is because he's just like the star. So we're like, oh, yeah, it's the star in Boston.
Yeah, just
but
like Isaiah or whoever else it may have been.
Yeah.
He is
Tatum
on
got,
another
the
level.
Fourth most All-Star votes among anyone.
I was watching a video, like a Super Bowl video, just like some TikTok, and it was like, Chiefs fan or a Niners fan like broke his TV and a Chiefs fan got mad. And then just somebody comes in to break up the fight wearing a Tatum jersey. That is just nothing to do with anything happening in the video, but they just had a Tatum jersey.
Celtics fans are good people. Like they don't want to see anybody getting hurt. It's like good representation of all of us, really.
Peace.
Yeah. It's just incredible that like he is to the level of fame where people will just randomly like it. The reason they had that jersey is probably just because like that is the NBA jersey they have, and one of them wanted to wear a jersey. Like that's the level Tatum's at. And so you talk about faces of the NBA. Outside of the older guys, he is probably the most famous American-born basketball player, and it's not really close, right? Like it's Steph, LeBron,
American born for
KD.
sure.
Yeah, Steph, LeBron, KD, Tatum. And so if you're going to do marketing in the United States, he is the guy. It's him or Wemby. Luka doesn't care, like respectfully. So Jokic doesn't care. Wemby is the next guy up because he looks like he is ready to be that sort of media darling type of player, and he's going to accept it. But who else past that? Like Tatum enjoys it. He's fine with it. He likes going in the media. He likes promoting his stuff. I mean, I'm not saying it's going to be the next LeBron's, but Tatum shoes are pretty popular. Like they're already pretty popular among, in general, everybody. And they're pretty comfortable too, respect. So like he's reached a level of fame where us talking about does he need to win a title to be the face of the league, maybe to be that face, but he is already probably like a top 5 face in the NBA right now.
Yeah, definitely. The sneakers sell well. You mentioned the jersey sales, the All-Star votes being one of the most popular, for example, more votes than Joel Embiid by a comfortable margin. And so there's two things that happen, and it involves jersey sales too here, is that the Celtics are a global brand with a massive fan base. You see when they go on the road, their fans are well represented. And then on top of that, you have Jayson Tatum is an easy guy to root for. And so he's got people who, as long as they don't hate the Celtics, and even then they might like him, but as long as they're not the fan of the Knicks or the Lakers, for instance, or the Sixers, then there's a good chance if they're getting a jersey, then they might get a Jayson Tatum one and that they'll rock with JT. And Tatum also is someone who, to your point about the commercials, he came into the league saying, I don't want to touch the money from my NBA contract. So he told his agent, get me as many commercials as possible. And that's why you see him for Honeydew Donuts, I believe, at the beginning of his career. Definitely for Gatorade and for Ruffles and all these other brands. You will see Jayson Tatum on your television.
Yeah, and to your point about Tatum being likable, I think that's a big, ironically enough, part of why LeBron has been marketed so much, because I can't stand LeBron. He is insufferable. But from like a moral standpoint, you can't like point at stuff that he's done wrong. Like he's been with his wife the entire time. Like you don't hear too many bad things about like at least like legal stuff. He's not getting himself into trouble. And it feels like Tatum's very much the same way. I mean, you don't hear a peep about his personal life. He doesn't even want you to know he has a girlfriend. Like all of those things are important, I think. And people seem to like him because he's just kind of soft-spoken. He's not talking trash. He has a confidence about him, which I'm sure we're going to talk about. But besides that, he's just kind of what people want their kids to be like, in a way where not disrespectful. He's very talented, but kind of humble too. So it's good for him. The shoes. Ordered the 2s. Haven't got them yet. The first ones, they fall apart quick. They fall apart. They break. The bottoms break. This is really good. I liked it. I bought numerous pairs of them, but they do crack.
Well, hopefully the 2s are better. I haven't ordered the 2s yet. I didn't know they were out.
You have to have a Nike email.
What the hell? How do you have a Nike email?
Did you do the League Pass thing? An account with that was up for a day or two?
I did not, because
I saw
Jack
it.
has League Pass and we share it. Just kidding. I pay for my own, but
I didn't do it, but I saw it, Bobby. That was some something special. They what was it? If you click the link and did it, you'd get free League Pass, and they didn't mean for it to be like that.
Yeah, so it's like if you vote for what sneaker Tatum will wear at the All-Star game, then it comes with a free year of premium League Pass. I don't know how the wires got crossed on that.
Somebody got fired.
The tweet,
or at least people that figured that out.
The tweet that like sent it out and like showed people like that it was a thing had 1.5 million impressions, so they lost a lot of League Pass that day.
Yeah,
which is very funny. But yeah, no, Tatum's. I wonder
if they went back and canceled those.
No, you can't cancel them at that point. I don't think so. But Sam, to your point about LeBron, as much as you dislike him, like him and Tatum are the same in the sense that like they don't like what do? They do a bunch of media stuff and then they just hang out with their family. Like Tatum just hangs out with his kids. LeBron's just at home with Bronny, like hanging out. Like it's tough to like point at flaws outside of just like, I'm not saying blindly hate him. Like I know you have your reasons, but like effectively, like there's no real reason to like have a genuine, deep rooted hatred for him unless you're like a Celtics fan, like unless he just killed your favorite team for
It's
years.
basketball
I'll
hatred.
tell
That's
you
what Sam is saying.
Yeah,
it is basketball hatred, but
yeah,
it is remarkable, and this is even more of a compliment that he is so insufferable, but also very marketable in that sense. Like the sheer just arrogance, narcissism that goes around him does not matter. He still has all of that kind of support. They will not turn their backs on LeBron no matter what. No retirement tour.
Is there only one colorway that Tatum's out?
Yes.
Oh, it's just the flower one. I didn't know that.
It's interesting because he put out 3 on Saturday night. He showcased 3 different iterations.
Oh, did I get got?
No, there's only one on the Nike store. You're correct. It's just I kind of want to order the Sabrinas too. The Sabrinas look really nice. They look comfy. Anyways, Bobby, any more Tatum stuff before you want to move on to the Bulls game?
No, I think we covered it.
Alrighty. Well, Celtics back in action for the first time in far too long. I'm very much desperately in need of basketball again.
Highlight watching like stage. It's like, all right,
need it back. But Celtics basketball is back tomorrow night as you're listening to this. This will be out later tonight as we're recording this. Thursday, take on the Bulls in Chicago. This is their third matchup against the Bulls this season? Second matchup, sorry, against the Bulls. The first since they hack-a-Drummonded their way 2 points in the in-season tournament. Now they get to play a Bulls team that looks exactly the same because Chicago decided to do nothing at the trade deadline. And I'm excited. I think it'll be a good game. I'm excited for basketball back again. I'm hoping Tillman and Springer might be in action. That's something I, hopefully get to look forward to. But this is going to be a nice, I don't want to call it a tune-up game because the Bulls have been playing better since the last time the Celtics saw them. But after this, the Celtics have the Knicks, Sixers, Mavericks, Warriors, Cavaliers, Nuggets, Suns. So very tough stretch after this one game against the Bulls. Need to take advantage.
Yeah, so I think it is fair to call it a tune-up game. It's also the first one back from the break. And thank God that we have basketball in our lives again as of Thursday night. And so to me, you just don't know how the Bulls are going. One, there is the factor of we're returning from a recess. So what does that do for both sides? And does it benefit one more than the other? We'll find out. But also, we don't know how the Bulls, because it's a veteran team, respond to the fact that as much of a mistake as it was that their front office, and it's an ownership-driven decision, didn't break up that team and trade players like Caruso, and obviously Levine is injured, but there's a lot more guys that they should have moved on from. Get what you can for Vucevic. But here they are still together. And does that give them some sort of confidence and momentum? And okay, we're 9th right now in the East. Let's try and make a run and play our best. And are they happy about the fact that no one ended up relocating? So we'll see.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that. Like, I was thinking about this today, rare positive thought by me. And I was like, you know what? Like, I think we all kind of like owe the Bulls like a thank you. Like, they really could have screwed things up here. They could have been like, all right, Sixers, here's Caruso. Knicks, here's DeRozan to help you close some games. They held on to everybody. The Celtics could have really gotten a bad deal at the deadline if Chicago had just been fire sale. Here, East contenders, just take all of our guys. I'm so happy that they didn't. With that being said, you can repay them by stomping them. Just don't give them any hope. Like, it won't be hurtful. Like, just go in there, set the tone after the All-Star break. Please be serious. Everyone can show up there. There's sick tans that they got with the sleeveless jerseys, of course. I'm sure Luke Cornett's looking nice and tan. Pritchard, all the boys. Just
Sam House is glistening.
He might be sunburned. He's the only one, like, probably guaranteed sunburn.
I don't think that Luke Cornett is rocking like the glazed turkey right now. I think he's going to show up looking pale per usual.
Do we think Luke Cornett went anywhere for All-Star break, or did he just go home? I feel like he didn't do anything for the All-Star break. I feel like he just chilled at home and just hung out.
I think he's a man with outside interests. So I think he did something that he found stimulating, probably involved travel.
He probably built like model planes or something. You
I
know,
can see that.
That's what I imagine. Yeah.
it's
Like
Museum
like the
visiting.
wooden ones, not like anything that's like plastic or anything like that.
Yeah. I can't picture him like going to some beach somewhere. I don't know. Maybe I'm
Yeah, he
crazy.
probably didn't go to the tropics.
Where's he from? Texas. Yeah, that tracks. Okay. Yeah, Bulls
He
game.
doesn't strike me as a Texas guy.
I was thinking more Louisiana or
I was thinking
I was thinking South,
Midwest.
but not Texas. Yeah, I could have seen that too. Like Iowa. It wouldn't have shocked me if
Yeah.
he was from Iowa. That does make sense. But the Bulls in particular, um, it's really tough for me to like get like I write about the Bulls and it's tough for me to say like, yeah, this is good. Kobe White's been a monster this year. That's the only thing that's been different. Like he's been super, super good. I think he's the best player on that team. But like what are you supposed to say about the Bulls? Ayodasunu's been killing it. He's averaging like 15. Sam, get ready to be mad. He's shooting like 50% from three over the last 20 games. So that's gonna
Terrible.
be fun.
I'm pretty mad.
But the Bulls as a team, like they're just meh. Like they don't do anything. They're perfectly average at everything. So the Celtics should be able to walk them. And we gotta
The
hope.
Bulls are in like year 3 of like, hey, we shouldn't have this team anymore. Yet they're still here.
Yeah.
It's
tough.
ownership. This is such a stubborn group, and this is how they operate.
Well, surely the answer to this question won't be the Bulls, but we've talked about this briefly on the pod. It's getting down to the point where you can kind of scope out who the Celtics could potentially play in the playoffs, who you might be worried about in a 7-game series. Bobby, who do you view as the greatest threat to the Celtics in the Eastern Conference? I had this conversation on the Knicks pregame podcast they did recently too, so we can go around the horn here.
So first off, everyone check out Jack on there. And then secondly, when it comes to the greatest threat to the Celtics, especially when you're just limiting it to the East, we all understand the correct answer is the Celtics. Whether that's a Porzingis injury, whether that's the threes aren't falling and there's not enough balance and they're being held to one shot per possession most of the time. And so crashing the glass isn't working. We all understand the Celtics are most likely responsible for their demise if they don't win a championship, especially if they don't get out of the East in the playoffs. But as far as external threats within the conference, I look at it and I have a great deal of respect for what the Knicks have put together and the physicality that they can throw at the Celtics with improved offense and better shooting now with Bogdanovich and with OG Anunoby. They were on fire when he was healthy and in the lineup, plus Alec Burks for some bench scoring. But also I look at something, Jack, we talked about one time before a game a while back, and that is the reality that whoever draws the Pacers, they might beat them, but they're probably coming out of that series exhausted. And so that could weaken you for when you face your next opponent. And that is a threat that if it were to line up that way, that would be some cause for concern.
I'm heated. Bobby took what I was going to say. We did the Celtics blog roundtable, and I think I was the only one to be like, I think the Celtics are the biggest threat to the Celtics. And Jeff, the blog father, Clark, was like, "Are you sure about that?" And I was like, "Yes, I'm going all in." So I will tell Bobby. I think they are also the biggest threat to themselves. I just think overall there's been throughout the past a lot of instances of them shooting themselves in the foot. Like last year's playoff run was a disaster. Despite where they got to, it was still a disaster. They made me very upset from the very beginning, and I hated all of it. But the team is different now. They have a lot more, I want to say, calming forces in the rotation. Drew Holiday, Porzingis, even Derek White has really emerged as like the stabilizing guy. And I trust them more. I do. I trust them. So I really think it's up to them to just get the job done. I'll say one, I think Milwaukee is still a threat, even though they're a laughing stock at the moment. Giannis is very good. Dame is very good, even though he doesn't play defense. I know everyone's trashing Doc. I'm not going to do it. I like Doc. Respect. But also, I know he's bad, but respect. I'd love to see them stomp Thanasis. I hate him. Despise Thanasis. The new shout out, I'm going to plug, new hater power rankings update is going up on Celtics blog sometime soon. It's been submitted. Eyes peeled. Thanasis gets name dropped. I'm not going to give the Knicks credit. I hate them. And Miami is the team that I truly like. If the Celtics have to play them early, you're going to have to sweat bullets the entire time. not only because it's Miami, but every single time they have played Miami this year, Kristaps has been like, wait a minute, did you just get hurt? Especially the games in Miami, Bam plays a little bit reckless, throws his legs around, Porzingis comes down, has to go to the locker room. I would like to see everybody healthy. To Bobby's point, if Porzingis stays healthy, they're going to be a mess to play against. If he's hurt, it may happen against Miami. Plus, you got Duncan Robinson with a vengeance now. What if he Kelly Olynyk somebody out of spite?
So you complained that Bobby took year 1, and so your response was to take 3. What is wrong with you?
I'm not taking 3. I didn't even give the Knicks credit. I said I'm not going to talk about them. And then I just touched upon the others to be fair to the question. I could be like the Celtics are the only threat and then just move on. This is part of my growth, Jack. I'm trying to be more fair to you instead of just giving you the I don't care.
More fair to me. You took away all the possible responses I could have had being original.
But you said the Pacers who beat the Celtics twice this year. I mean, they'd be a
Bobby
real
said the
Pacers.
Pacers.
To be fair, I kind of took 2.
Well, what if
we all got a little
think of it like this, Jack? Like if the Pistons do get hot enough to get in the play-in, like I would not want to play the Pistons.
If you say the Pistons,
because if they get that far,
Sam's
like
Pistons.
you have to think they want on the ultimate tear. Like
Sam, your squad's got Quentin Grimes now.
Yeah.
When we did this exercise on the pod, my order was Bucks 1, Knicks 2. What was it? Bucks 1, Knicks 2, Heat 3, then Pacers, then Cavs. And not that I think the Pacers are a better team than the Cavs. Not that I think the Heat are a better team than the Cavs, but the Heat have played the Celtics better. They scare you more in the playoffs. The Pacers, you'd be exhausted. I just don't see the Cavs beating the Celtics in a 7-game series, and so they don't worry me.
I like that.
But you got to respect Giannis. You got to respect the 2-man game you could potentially have with Dame. I say potentially because it hasn't really happened yet. And so that is where that respect comes from. I think the Knicks are the best built team to guard the Celtics in the playoffs. I think they have the fewest defensive weaknesses in the Eastern Conference. Jalen Brunson, we were talking about this in the pod, and Andrew GMAC, he's Knicks film school. He's a beast. He was like, yeah, Jalen Brunson, we've called him a traffic cone before, but he's like a traffic cone filled with cement. And so it's really tough to like get through him all the time.
That means he's not moving. He's really not moving.
Exactly. Well, no. He's a big body, which is different than it's. Well, I called Dame a traffic cone, and then he was like, well, Jalen Brunson's like a traffic cone, but at least he's got cement in him, which is respect.
I just love the Dame clip where he was guarding Halliburton and then didn't move at all when Halliburton
was that
drove.
Dame or was that Beasley? Because Beasley has one of
Dame
those.
Dame did it too.
They both had one.
The fact that there's 2
starting
from the same
backcourt,
yeah, special stuff. Yet I still put them 1, but I truly think that is a testament to the Celtics are really their biggest threat.
And a lot of those guys have been together for a long time too. Like, for what it's worth, I know Middleton's been hurt, not and healthy, and then hurt again and hurt. You know, he can't stay off the damn injury report. The injury report, sorry. But like they still won a title. Like Giannis, Middleton, Brook Lopez, they know how to play together.
Drew
Lopez
Holiday.
is like, yeah, Drew Holiday, but like Lopez is like sneaky way better than everybody thinks. Like he'll just come out of nowhere and score 35 points.
He's having a down season compared to recent campaigns, though.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, well.
Also, I do find it interesting, Jack, because you just went through the list there and didn't even mention the Sixers. You cut it off before getting to them. I don't think look, we've seen how that's gone, but I like the addition of Buddy Hield. I think it's a big if, but if Embiid is out there and close to being an MVP caliber player, I think the series will at least be a battle. It's not like the Celtics have, outside of when Ben Simmons got hurt in the bubble, it's not like Celtics have dog walked them in 4 games.
If Embiid is back, I'd slot them in at 4 above Pacers Cavs. If no Embiid,
then there's nothing to talk about.
Behind, there's gone. See ya.
Little brother. Never a threat. I mean, it's just the facts. Like, last year was the year for me. I told Jack leading up to it, I was like, I think they're going to lose to Philly this year. They're going to lose to Philly this year. Philly backs against the wall, finally has the Celtics. They can't get the job done in a home game where Jayson Tatum can't find the bottom of the basket for 3 quarters. It's not happening for them. It's just not. Simple.
By the way, speaking of Celtics Sixers history, per one of our recent trivia questions, NBC Sports Boston is doing a tribute to Mike Gorman. And the other night they had on the Celtics Sixers game where Pierce scored 40.
Yeah. I thought of that when I didn't see it live, but I saw people posting about it, and I was like, that was a trivia question.
It's great.
And I did not
Love to see it. Love to see it. All right. Last thing before we get to trivia. Bobby, you mentioned this because apparently they were asking players at All-Star Weekend. I didn't see it, but I believe it. Or actually, I did see Tatum talk about it. If you could change one thing about the NBA, what would it be? I'm pretty sure Tatum said if you get called for a tech on a call that you were wrong, that the refs were wrong about, you should get that tech rescinded, which is just funny. That would be Tatum's
Tatum
one
answer.
thing. I know it's such a Tatum answer. It was great. I forget what some other player said. Bobby, what would you change?
So I recognize I'm on an island. No one likes this take. No one agrees with it. Yet I remain posted up by myself. And that is that I think that it's a better product if you can have more space between games, that you're more likely to get stars out there, especially in visiting markets. Sam, I don't expect you to agree with this. I've trotted this take out numerous times.
It's not the craziest thing.
Most people tell me to kick.
So when he says it, it's not crazy. But when I say it, I get yelled at. What is this dumb
No,
thing?
like I don't like it, but like I can see where he's coming from. Like I still want to see games.
Most jobs don't include a summer vacation. And so the fact that it cuts into that doesn't really, I'm not sympathetic towards the cause there. And on top of it, we saw Drew Holiday go from playing in the finals to being great at the Olympics. So even in terms of international participation, I think you'll still get some players who will do it and compete hard in both worlds. And so to me, more space equals guys being healthier, equals better effort during the regular season. I think that's good for the product, more availability. So when LeBron goes to Minnesota, for example, you don't miss him the one time he visits. I think all around, everyone wins, from the players to the fans to the league.
Well, maybe we'll do it like after LeBron retires, just get him out as fast as we can. But to your point, Bobby, another thing that would do is make the season longer, like just calendar sense. All for it. Like, just give me less months without basketball. I'm in. As long as, like, I don't like the cutting back on the games. I'll say that. Like when Steve Kerr is up on the soapbox, like these guys should only have to play 72 games. No, because then you do that and then people will cry. I mean, if baseball is not cutting back games, the NBA does not need to cut back games. It's just a fact. Baseball
needs
is
to
like
cut back games though.
Baseball needs to, but nobody should do it until they do it. All right, so I'm going to give my take, but I want you guys to guess what I'm going to say. I almost texted us with like odds of like things I was thinking about saying.
I should be able to think of this so easily, but I'm off right now. I don't know why, because I was thinking so hard about what I would want.
Trivia.
Yeah, get warmed up.
Do you have anything?
Something involving, it's happened to the Celtics.
Is it like no last?
Is it related to hanging on the rim?
No.
No.
Even though that's a good one.
It would be more. I'm trying to think what is. Well, I should be. I'm gonna like as soon as you say it, I'll be like, oh yeah, duh. But I can't think right now. Shoot, can I have a clue? No, I want a clue.
You want a clue?
Yeah. Can you give a clue, or is it too giveaway?
Trying to think. It would be in the same category as the hanging on the rim. Like it would be a rule thing.
What?
I'm guessing it's not about freedom of movement.
Is it like integrity of the game stuff? That joke?
No. Oh no, it's not. See now I'm like, all right. So I actually have two answers.
Okay. Well, I'll take it then, because I had to spark a new answer, so I'll take the dub.
So the one that Jack just sparked is the uniforms. Home whites at home. That's it. And then you can do whatever you want on the road. Just no white jerseys on the road. They're only at home. That's the rule. Plain and simple. Nike has come in, got their grubby hands on everything, and ruined it. I despise Nike. Adam Silver has paid for his crimes as he was humiliated at the All-Star game. So I do like nod watching him shamefully hand out the winning prize, whatever the hell they got. I don't know. But the one I had, goodbye landing spot foul. Or just jump shot fouls, far less frequent. It's not a real thing. No other basketball on the planet has this. It is just the NBA. It's the only place where guys fall down when they take jump shots, trying to create contact or get extra free throws. No other place on the planet is this happening. It's shameful. I hate it, and it needs to go. I understand. I'm not saying I want to see somebody have their ankle rolled. I despise Zaza because he gave it validity. But the falling down in the frequency of it needs to stop. That's a fact.
I should have got that one. I knew that. Dang, I'm frustrated. I was trying to think. There isn't anything. I think your two rules make the most sense. I think the charge needs to be adjusted a little.
Fair.
I don't think you should take out the charge. I think it should be you can't move after the offensive player has gathered the ball. I think it should be on the gather because you have moments where Jayson Tatum is in his 2-step after his gather and Aaron Nesmith is still moving into paint. But since he hasn't technically jumped yet, it's not a foul. And then he is having to adjust himself midair to not kill Aaron Nesmith. And then it's a foul on Tatum. Like, no, it's not a foul. What are we doing? So I think that needs to be changed. I think making it 15 all-stars instead of 12 because there's like 6 more teams in the league. And then this isn't really a rule change, but it's just long overdue. Like, just expand the league already. Like, there's way too much talent.
He said
they're waiting for the media deals to get done.
It needs to happen.
2 teams.
Yeah, far too much talent in the league. Needs to expand. I think you could even go to 4 now. I think they'll wait on that, and I think they'll do 2 more in like 5 years from then. But get the expansion happening, but get cooking.
Yeah, Vegas and Seattle will have teams soon enough. Can't wait for Seattle to have a team back. Also be pretty fun, especially for everyone who travels to be going to Vegas more frequently and for a short stint. So that's kind of the sweet spot for how long you want to be in Sin City.
Correct.
And
before you lose your voice.
Give me the rule one more time, Jack. I kind of just blanked out there, but I had something to say about it when you mentioned it.
The charge?
The charge. Yeah, that they are. It hasn't happened yet, but guys have hurt their wrist, for example, but it's just so dangerous when someone's up in the air and you literally have someone underneath their legs with the intent of making contact. That is a situation the NBA should be trying to avoid.
It's true. It's a good point. The player safety aspect of that is very important. Honorable mentions from me. The buddy, like feel of the league.
You're such a loser.
I'm such a loser, but then you have people complaining about the competitiveness of an all-star game. If you want a more competitive all-star game, then if the players aren't buddy and they actually want to beat each other, it will. Or
just don't care about the all-star game because it's useless. Or just scrap it.
It's fine not to care about it, but I think it's part of it.
I'd scrap the all-star game before you say these players who play in the same league for 9 months out of the year.
That's why it's an
entire year growing up.
Actually,
can't be friends.
First off, I like that Jack kind of played with his hair and went more like a high top right now.
It just gets in my face, and so I try to just get it out of my forehead.
Looking good. And then Amin El Hassan had a great point that as the NBA fights for these media contracts to get done, that their broadcasting partners are going to look at it and say, and their advertising partners as well, and say, look, if these guys don't care about the All-Star game, then we're going to spend less money on it. And that it previously was something where Turner said, okay, we don't have the finals, but this is something we want in compensation for that. And look, their whole salary cap structure is driven off of basketball-related income. And so if there's a dent in what people are paying to broadcast and sponsor the All-Star game and All-Star weekend, that's a hit to everyone's wallets in the NBA.
I think that's a great point. Didn't even think about that. Just tell them about that. Be like, your salary cap's going down, buddy, if you don't try. Final honorable mention, no more Nepo contracts. Plain and simple. Thanasis gone. Bronny maybe not drafted. It's less about Bronny. He's catching strays.
I was watching it the other day.
And for the whole James family.
I was watching a video last night, and you'd be surprised how many people get drafted with worse stats than Bronny and turn into role players. Like it's not that.
Is that true? Can you send me that?
Or it wasn't like that wasn't the topic of the video, but I was watching a video that reacting to draft grades, and Peyton Watson averaged 3 points, 2 rebounds on 30-20 splits, and he's
been fine. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't think it's all
Bronny's
about
also
college
billed
stats.
as a good defender. So get that going for him too.
Exactly.
I don't think it'll never happen. I think people are rushing him. That's my take on it.
Possible. Also possible. All right, trivia time, shall we?
Let's
I'm
do it.
in.
Let's rock. So, do we want coaches this time?
Yeah, Bobby said
Yeah.
coaches. Let's run with
Okay.
that.
We'll run out of
I
options
have a-
anyways.
I have a non-counting stat trivia. We'll call it a friendly after because I want to do it because I think it'd be fun. But it's not Celtics, but I don't want it to count.
Just keep me in the little room here. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's see. Or maybe we'll save that for the live. Actually, that'd be better anyways. All right. Question. Through 2022, 7 different head coaches have won at least 200 games for the Celtics. Again, through 2022, 7 different head coaches have won at least 200 games for the Celtics. Who are those 7 coaches? Who's going first here? Bobby, right?
Bobby.
Yeah, Bobby. Rock. Hit it.
I'll play it safe and go with red.
Yes, sir. Sam, to you.
Brad.
Yes, sir. Back to you, Bobby.
Doc Rivers.
Yes, sir. Sam?
Bill Fitch.
Correct. Back to you, Bobby.
See, now it gets interesting because guys had short tenures, but I will go with
Mhm.
Casey Jones.
Correct. He got
How many
there.
is there? 7?
Yeah.
Does this include the playoffs?
It just says have won
Oh.
at least 200 games for the Celtics.
Tommy.
Correct.
I was hoping you wouldn't.
There's one name left. This is big. This is for the game. Sam gets it as a tie series. Bobby gets it. It's a 3-1.
I got 2 names in mind. I don't know how
Bobby
long.
is struggling.
I don't know how long one of them was there. Sam, it sounds like you
Mhm.
have the answer, which cranks up the pressure.
I don't know if I have the answer, but I'm also like playing with possibilities.
I'm gonna go with the hope that he was there long enough. It's the Voldemort of the franchise, and that is Rick Pitino.
No,
Oh no,
Oh,
not Rick
man.
Pitino. Rick Pitino,
Oh.
102 wins. 102. Auerbach clears, by the way. I didn't realize how far the gap
man.
was.
I mean, think about how dominant they were.
I know.
I'm gonna say Jim O'Brien. That's to be my guess.
Mm-mm.
And
139.
I'm gonna be really mad if it was the other one that I had in my head, and it probably is, but we'll see.
Back to you, Bobby.
I will go with Chris Ford.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we had 3 names in mind, Sam, and
I
luckily-
also had Bill Russell. Bill Russell was my other guess.
Bill
I'm not
Russell was
that mad.
162. Chris Ford got to 222.
The reason why I did not guess Bill Russell because I was like, he only did like 2 or 3 seasons. I don't even know if that's like enough unless you win all the games. So
he
Yeah.
got championships as a coach, but wasn't there long
Chris
enough to
Ford,
get to 200. I was
Coach
very
of the
worried
year,
that Pitino was going to
slipped my
cost me.
mind.
Mhm.
Devastated.
Stevens is 4th all time. That is kind of crazy.
He coached for a while. He was, what, 9 years?
I know.
8 years?
Yeah. That's nuts.
Patino, by the way, who said he's having the worst experience of his life?
Does he just block out the Boston years?
Yeah,
Maybe they weren't as bad for him as they were for everyone else.
right. Yeah, he had hope.
All right. Well, 3-1 series lead for Bobby. Ready to go.
You know, as
Damn,
Jalen Brown
big
once
comeback
said, they're
time.
not going to play with our food over here.
Who said that? Jalen?
Jalen Brown, when
Doc
when they were
said
playing the
something very
Sixers, and it
similar,
was
just
3-1
not the same.
What series was it that Jalen said that?
against the Sixers. It was
Sixers,
actually
yeah.
it was 3-0. Is the confetti
Yeah.
year.
Yep.
Yeah. Perfect. All right. Well, Bobby, any final thoughts?
No, I think we hit on it all.
Alrighty. Thank y'all for tuning in. Make sure to subscribe to How About Them Celtics. Leave a like. Check out Bobby's work at si.com/Celtics. Inside the Celtics there. And I'll let Sam take it home.
Hey, thank you very much for watching. Subscribe, leave a like, hit the bell. You'll get all the videos right to your notifications. Follow Bobby at Bobby Kravinsky. His work's all on Inside the Celtics for SI Media. He's boots on the ground. He's at the games. He's at practice. He's put in the work. He's a great source for you. So definitely follow him. You can reach out to us, hbtcpod@gmail.com. We read your emails. We're recording tomorrow, later today. So yeah, email us. Be a part of it. Socials at How About Them C's, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. Streams are on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Jack's Twitter is at JacksMonNBA. Mine's at Sam the Fred's NBA. It's it for us.